Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 68 of Paper Tuesdays. I'm here because we lost the footage for the first 20 minutes or so of the episode. How? We're still not sure. But the rest of the episode does have video. You'll just have to bear with us for about 20 minutes. So thank you and enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome to Paper Tuesdays with Michael Dwyer and Mark Halpin.
Today we're joined by our collaborator and good friend Conor Moore.
How's it going,
Welcome,
guys?
Conor.
How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. Conor, I was in the queue for coffee and
Right.
I did this thing where I've just started recently. I wrote a song for you. So here we go. Gather up your children from the gory district. This is not a drill, you're not gonna be tricked. Prepare to be amazed by the feats of one man. You thought you can't, now you know that you can, because it's more, Conor Moore. He's the drumming man, to be sure. Better rhythm than the edge of you two. The best drummers couldn't buckle his shoe. Married to the Ducks, he lives in Tower Hill. I heard that his singing can be shrill. A gory man to the bone. If you want drumming sound out, you should phone, because it's more, Conor Moore. He's a drumming man, to be sure. Better rhythm than the edge of you two. The best of drummers couldn't buckle his shoe. Sticks and clicks and merch as well. He'd sell sand to the yards and gas to Shell. He's a charismatic character and one of Gory's great guys. One thing's for sure, he's definitely not shy, because he's more, Conor Moore. He's the drumming man, to be sure. Better rhythm than the edge of you two. The best of drummers couldn't buckle his shoe. Woo!
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
I asked you, did you have anything prepared for the whole interview? You're like, no, I have an article there. That's incredible stuff. You're just making mince of the rhythm and the... Oh my God. Maybe I'm not that talented. My mother has been lying to me my whole life.
Did you actually write that in the queue for the coffee?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I had to, but it's funny though, like
That's some cue.
I didn't.
Somewhere you were like,
It's funny that, you know, when I was in the car on the way, I wrote a song for Conor, and I thought, do you know, there's a tune for Conor. You know, there was a tune for Flood that was Flash Flood, because it's punchy and it's, you know, fucking wake up with you. And Conor Moore is like more, you know, it's more jazzy, it's more expressive, and that's you, Conor. That's
I love
you.
it. I love your what you call it, like you're so intense when you sing. It's so, I don't know whether to be entertained or uncomfortable. Like it's
Yeah.
Conor Moore. It's like loads of anxiety or something. Like I love it. It's great. Yeah, but thanks for you guys
It's
for having me
true.
back. Thanks for the open theme tune. That's
Mm.
amazing. Yeah. Looking forward to the next one.
yeah. He can
Um,
open for you now in Little Theatre next time.
Could you?
He's going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start night.
I'm looking to fill seats.
Since we've had you on last, you did 2 shows in the theatre. What did you take from live experience of performance?
Yeah, it was 2 for this year and 1 for last year. It was definitely something I've never thought that I'd ever do. But then again, from being a musician and kind of looking to kind of build the CV as much as possible, I don't say no to anything, like. So always say yes to everything. Even as they say, you should always go outside of your comfort zone. And for a drummer to come to the front of a stage and take the lead on things it's never done.
No.
And I think that was a bit of a selling point to those who did buy tickets, besides friends and family, people who kind of go, they were like buying it because, or they were buying a ticket because they kind of thought, I want to see what this is all about. So the curiosity of how does a drummer run a show? So I filled the show with as much as I could, but I have to say it was very strange when I got the phone call from the committee. I was a little bit like, I'll have a think about it, but then I had no reason to kind of not do it, because they asked me to do it for a reason. Because if they thought that it was going to work, if they were backing me, I was going to back myself. You know what I mean? Instead of me going to them going, I want to do a drumming show, and they go, right, we'll give you a run. Do you know what I mean? Then I wouldn't have the confidence behind it and stuff. So yeah, it's a tough show on your own. As a drummer, you're always depending on someone to take the lead, to kind of feed off the energy, to feed off the crowd for you and things like that. But you have to talk, you have to catch your breath, you have to make sure that there's no silence throughout the show. Like if you're finishing on a bar and you're trying to make yourself, or you have to make your way over to like the kit, you have to fill that with constant talking and is everyone enjoying themselves and this next track, and I love this track and the story behind this, and this is how this all happened, and you're constantly trying to keep a crowd entertained, where as I always like, my biggest fear of being on stage and also being in an audience is losing an audience member for 2 seconds. It's like me, let's say I'm rattling on here and we're all chatting, and then it just lulls to that. You can lose someone straight away, like, and I hated that. So I got really kind of I got real, what could you say, particular about the whole performance and stuff. And then it kind of made me kind of want to do more stuff like this. And then I started writing shows, like productions, then over lockdown. So I was in touch with a guy from LA. I know him, he doesn't know me, but I'm looking to get to know him an awful lot more. I literally just wrote out a show and he was like, keep trying. So I'm looking to like start writing productions and stuff. I know it's mad coming from a solo show and going to the theatre and trying to set my standards even higher, like. So yeah, that's how it's all been.
Wow.
I'm not sure whether I answered your question, but
yeah, you're getting to a beautiful point there. Setting your standards higher. I think that's kind of linked to fatherhood. Do you think it is? Do you see it?
Yeah, it's kind of said. I think you should always set your standards higher, and I'm a big. I'm not a man for the motivational quotes on Facebook. You know, always be a better person. Can't stand it. It's like, it's pure face ache. But I listen to a lot of like Sir Alex Ferguson and stuff, like speeches and stuff in colleges. And actually my favorite one is Brian Cody. Brian Cody said he hates the term of be the best that you can be. He goes, therefore you're setting yourself a limit. He goes, I detest that. He goes, never say I'll be the best, always be better. So always, like, never say I want to open up a drumming school and I want to have 50 students. Why just have 50? Why not have thousands and hundreds and go online and just always expand and always be better? But the fatherhood thing, yeah, setting a fierce benchmark. But yeah, it's we've talked about it for years, and yeah, so we are 6 weeks out. So whenever this goes out, I will be, the keys will be right beside me, the hospital bag is packed, and we'll be good to go. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, when I say it, I'm sure you get where I'm coming from, but it's just when someone has something that's greater than them, they feel like they need to push themselves further. And that's what I see there. Like, there's a player comes to mind, and when he became a father, he actually played better hurling than he had before, I thought. You know, there's something else there.
I think things kind of become a little bit more structured. Whereas as parents now will always say, you will wonder what you ever did with your spare time. Like, you know, you'll actually be thinking, like, what did I do at all? Like, whenever you had all that time, and now it's constantly like, you know, feeding and late nights and things like that. But yeah, I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to schedules and stuff. Like, I have ridiculous things in on my calendar. Like, I mean, like call Mark Halpin for a catch up at 3:15 p.m. on Sunday the 17th. Like, I'm ridiculous like that. So yeah, there is a slight fear of, like, I hope I'm not going to be like that. But yeah, I do want to be a little bit more structured in life, and I will be kind of better at juggling things, because at the minute, you know, things are just mad. But then we are coming out of a pandemic, so things are mad, like, you know.
And when you think of fatherhood, do you think you'll do things different, like, or will you just keep doing the same? I hope you will keep doing the same, but like, it must be a challenge, obviously, to take on the added duty, responsibility, but to also be yourself, continue to express yourself through your music and your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's without a doubt, there's no case of like change what you have to do, or change this or change that, or reduce your training with Mark, or reduce your lessons, or reduce the noise, the whole lot. The worst thing that I could ever do is stop lessons because the house has to be quiet. Keep the noise up, you know. Like, bring in this baby into the world, into our lives, the way that our lives are, instead of trying to create this whole different lives that we don't live just for the baby's sake and things like that, you know. So I just that's not what we would want to do, you know. But yeah, do you know what? You're kind of put me to the test. These are the like first time that I'm actually saying these things out loud. It's actually quite nice. So thank you.
Yeah, but it's things we take for granted. But like, there's a change there, and like, it's very important. I think that like when we were with Liam Byrne, that was the first time I thought, Jamie, this man can, you know, it is possible. The dream is possible. You can live your own life while being an example to your family, and you know, try and, you know, stack your priorities right, but be able to, you know, have a life that you can bring with it and be a strong example to your offspring.
And I think I was actually talking to someone last night, and actually a couple, and him and her were like talking about, you know, having kids, and they were like, congratulations, and what do you feel about so and so and this and that, the other, and sure, you know, Maura's pregnant now for the last, should be 34 weeks now on Monday, and you know, you're kind of like, you're telling them, oh, don't worry, whenever this happens and this happens, sure, we're pros now, like, and we're not like I guarantee we're going to have the baby, come home and put it there and go, what now? What do we do? Like, you know, is there a manual? You know, but they were like, we have such a fear of missing out, and it's kind of like, but what age? And they're like, we're 29. I was like, we've done 9-10 years of messing anyway, like, you know. And I think it is, you know, it's the whole, like, people have such a fear of missing out because of kids and stuff. I don't, and I guarantee it, those same people will turn around and go, when the lads ask you to come out for beers and pizza, right, and you have your little baby there, he goes, every single day you'll choose this over going out with the lads. It's everyone goes, you'll never understand the feeling until you actually do. And I have no idea the feeling that I'm going to have. But Mark Redmond, actually, congratulations to Mark and Clodagh, had their babies this morning at 5:15.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Congratulations.
Wow. Yeah,
that's some.
Yeah, I think they had the car seat ready yesterday. She definitely wasn't down in Wexford yet. The car seat was in the back of the car, and I knew that she was due this week. And I seen Mark coming down the street, and I was like, well, any news? From Mark being a messer, like,
yeah,
he goes, yeah, I've got the chap in the boot there. But sure, Mark saying that, I took that as if, oh, the chap is actually, or the baby was in the back seat. And I seen the car seat, and I texted him, I was like, oh, I'm thrilled for you. And then Mark goes, for what? And I thought, he's such a messer. But shit, they didn't even have the baby, but congratulations, they had the baby Adon. Yeah.
Shout out Adon Redmond.
Yeah,
that is great. We might kick into a round of Savage or Septic. I'll start with 11:30 p.m. closing.
Septic.
Yeah. See, I've heard a lot of older people say, "Oh, but it's great to get home at a reasonable hour," and like I should, as a young person, say, "Oh no, it is Septic," but like, it's quite nice to get home and get up early in the morning.
This
is a man who doesn't drink, though.
Yeah, but still,
you're waiting. You're
such a killjoy.
Yeah, 25 past 11 out. 5 more minutes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry about that. But then again, I caught 2:00 is a little bit Septic too.
It's too early or too late.
It's too late.
Yeah, it is for the whole next day.
Now I am coming into the era now of can't do it. I'll be straight with the public. I'll be straight. I'm a smoker. I smoke cigarettes on a Saturday, right? I have me 10 or 15, right? Saturday night over a couple of drinks. I don't smoke until Friday. I can't do it. Like, I cannot do it. So 11:30, it probably will grow on me. But 11:30, people are saying that Septic because they're not getting into their heads that if it's closing earlier, you should go out earlier.
Yeah.
So if back in the day when it closed at 2, people went out 9:30, 10, giving yourself 4.5 hours of socializing. People are now going out at 9:00 and last hours are 10:00.
Yeah.
You know, so
scheduling.
Yeah.
Scheduling. Time management.
Google Calendar, guys. Blue, 7:00 instead of 9. Okay.
Don't work harder, work smarter.
The true Gary V. Pats Milan.
Savage, I love Pats Milan.
Savage.
Himself in the
Septic.
Here we go.
Septic.
Oh, yeah.
I was nearly ringing Dominic Smith yesterday for a new TV. I was ready to pull it off the wall. I think he's everything that Kerry should be ashamed of. He is. Oh no, I thought yesterday he did the whole. Oh, you did really well. You won the game on your own terms. This is for Tyrone, and then he gave everything little jab on rate. Oh yeah, COVID cases. Yeah, very fit for 18 lads. It's like Kerry can't stand losing. Like I think Kerry are a wonderful football team. I think they've done great things for like the sport. I think the country really gets behind them when they're playing in Dublin. But I just think Pat Spillane is everything. I'll say it again, that they should be ashamed of. Yeah. I'm such an extremist. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, but Pat is the extremist. Like, and that's I loved him yesterday.
He's
I thought
a
he
bully.
had a man of the match performance, because we're so used to analysis being scripted nowadays, and how could none of that was scripted? It was just pure anger from the bowels of Kerry. You know, it was. I loved it.
He's just like, now in saying that, as a Wexford man, I am a huge Tyrone supporter.
Yeah.
I'm a huge the years of Kevin Hughes, Sean Kavanagh, Brian Dooher, Peter Canavan. I had coffee with Peter Canavan. That was unbelievable. I nearly cried.
How did that happen?
I was on a tour with Sholin. We were doing a tour of schools up in the north, and that's where you get like free carvery dinners in like secondary schools. Unbelievable. And Peter Canavan was in one of the schools, and I went up to Kevin and I just goes, did you hear that Peter Canavan actually works here? And Kevin goes, Peter Canavan standing right behind you. I went, hello Peter, how you doing? Connor. Yeah, so he's like, you want to go for coffee? And I was like, yeah, grand. He brought us all down, and so sound. And then we went for a bit of food at lunch then into Owen Mulligan's bar then in Cookstown as well. Yeah.
Big day.
Do you remember the double dummy back in 2005? Like, and I think there was a replay of that match, and Tyrone were playing into the hill. It was the greatest celebration I've ever seen after a goal, and he rattled the net, and the hill was obviously a sea of blue, and the Dubs were all like shouting down at him, and Owen Mulligan just stood there and just goes, just threw up his hands at him like, such hero. So I am a little bit biased in probably saying that against Pat Spillane, but
I know, you're being yourself. That's what
but
we
yeah,
want here in
it's
Savage or Septic.
you know.
So continue with Savage or Septic. Pepsi Max.
Ooh.
Surely you're going Savage, Mark.
Savage. I don't know. See, I have a bad fucking relationship with it. Like, I either drink
Really?
10 a day or none. Now, I had a Coke Zero last night.
Yeah.
But I'm off it again today.
Off Coke Zero.
Of Coke Zero. I just remember I had that Comfort Pepsi Max with me for like fucking
years.
6 weeks. No, yeah, well, on and off 6 week periods, and then I go off it for years. I'd always have a Comfort bottle of Pepsi Max. It's probably bad, like there's caffeine in it, so shortly that's like, I was definitely pissing a lot, so it's bad. Connor, you wouldn't really be one for fizzy drinks.
No, I'm not. I can't answer it. I don't want to say Septic because I have no opinion on it. But I'm a Diet Coke man. But I'm like Mark. I Moore had to wean me off the Diet Coke. There was like, we were nearly going down the route of doctors. Like, it was about 2 or 3 bottles a day.
Right.
Like, so it was 1.5 liters kind of a day. Just kind of tried today. Loved one in the morning. Loved one in front of the TV, and then one when I was on the go. Whereas I think, but then again, if you're traveling around like the country and things like that, you go into a garage, you're going to pick up a Diet Coke for going to pick up a water, like
100%.
Every day,
every single day. And I was in my early 20s then, and sure, diet didn't it's into shape my life. Like I couldn't put on weight, but no, it was so I can't answer that. Pepsi Max, I would the bucket of Diet Coke in the cinema.
Oh,
I'll have 2, please.
It's half water, but like the water is good.
Yeah, I'll have 2.
Yeah,
I'll have 2 of them.
That's a brilliant shout.
It is insane. Yeah.
Crystal Swing at the Market House Festival.
Septic.
Septic. Yeah, did that happen?
It did. Yeah.
It did. Yeah.
It happened before. Like I've got great old friends on the committee and stuff. When I was on the committee there for 2 years and the whole lot. It's a little bit too novelty and things like that. But I don't know. I'll leave my opinions to myself.
They're a mother and son, is it?
And daughter.
And daughter.
Jesus Christ! Like, God love that lad. Is he like married or anything?
I don't know actually.
I think he
I
is.
wonder would he come on the pod? He'd be with the mother on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were some
gosh.
trio in fairness, like.
How did they get famous?
Was it Ireland's Got Talent or the All Ireland Talent Show or something? Was it a TV
Was
show?
it a talent thing? Or was it?
Was it Stars in Their Eyes, or was the Irish fucking star thing? Was it on TG Carr? Was that
Yeah.
the talent show on TG Carr they were
Could
on?
have been.
Whatever.
We were on it. I can't think of it. Your man Jared
You're a star,
Devan.
Oh, I don't think they were later than Your Star. Your Star was great, wasn't it?
Was that Nicky Byrne, Eurostar? No.
No, was that The Voice?
Eurostar.
Oh, Jamie, we're very decisive.
Linda Martin and them.
Linda Martin, I think Linda Martin,
yeah. And do you remember Brendan O'Connor was that, and he was like trying to be
Linda
the Simon Cowell. He was just negative about everyone and anything.
Yeah,
He's the human version of constipation, isn't he?
But he's matured, like he kind of had a child with Down syndrome now, and that's kind of made him this really lovey-dovey guy. And like it's just like it's amazing to witness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a great story about Linda Martin.
Oh, go on.
I've
You
great.
can't tell, can you?
Shouldn't, but so I will. I remember years ago, I'd say we're about 12 and 13, and we're out kicking football in Garden City, and a few of the lads, I would say no names, and they're like, if you had to marry a woman off telly, who would it be? You know, and the lads are going around, and the lads are like saying a few names, and I won't even name them.
Oh.
And then it came around to me, but I was getting me programs mixed up, and I was about 11 or 12, and I'll tell you now, my brain isn't great. Like, I'm not a very intelligent guy. I have an absolute chancer. But I was trying to refer to one Paul Abdul, right? Right. But I was like, oh, you're one off Pop Idol. They were like, Linda Mary. Yeah, no, not her. And to this day, the lads are always going, you still into Linda Martin? Stop. Stop. Yeah, so.
Does Ducks know that?
Huh?
Does Ducks know that?
Ducks knows that, yeah. Ducks actually tells that story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she tells that story, yeah.
How she tells about it. The inch car boots there.
Savage,
me too.
Savage. Lads who get up on a Saturday and a Sunday to go out and make a few pounds and loads of it.
With stuff they found on the way there.
Absolutely.
Let's paint the picture. You're going by the Londis where you can stop for your Chicken Villa Road if you like. You have to go into the car park and it's €1 to get in, and then you've got this Odyssey of Dreams, isn't it?
It is. But like you've got lads in England. Maybe they're not as ran into the ground as the Inchmark kind of job, but like the lads in England, like I'm massively into. I don't know why, because I've got no interest in the history side of it, but I love Salvage Hunters with Drew Pritchard.
Right.
Obsessed with it. It's on Quest. I've got like Sky Sports movies, the whole lot. But I'm still watching the free thing that Sky has given me on the package, and I just find it. I love watching lads rooting and coming across like little nuggets going, oh, this is an 1800. Oh, I love it. I don't think you'll find that in the market. No. Unless you might find like a ticket to Crystal Swing, like the Burn Art Festival in like the next 30 years. Like that'd be a gem.
I love the nod and the wink from your man because he had something in the front of his van he wanted to show you.
Yeah. I've got two of them. Yeah. Sticking around. Yeah. Come back to me in 5.
Yeah.
Pellet guns, laser pointers, DVDs, pirate DVDs, getting your phone unlocked. What else was there? Chickens.
Things that they can't sell in Donald's.
Yeah.
Jeopardy, is it?
The gone off sweets in Donald's. I got a lot of dolphins there when I was younger, little green dolphin sweets, and my shit was green for a week afterwards.
It
was not written on the packet. God only knows what was in that bag before the dolphins. Like,
my God.
So yeah, that's a little memory.
Yeah, green.
Yeah.
Did you say Savage or what were you?
Oh, Savage, yeah.
Savage, wow. It's an all-around consensus here. Drive-in bingos. Not that we've been.
Not that we've, well, you have.
Oh,
Savage.
I have. I've monitored these.
Savage.
Savage, yeah.
Safe,
more power to them.
Sociable. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Asher keeps them off the streets, Mike. It's grand, isn't it? Keeps them out of the bookies.
Yeah. Strawberries from outside County Wexford.
Savage.
Ooh.
We're getting advertisement all over the country. And I don't know, we kind of shake our head at it a little bit whenever we go up the country, and that's like, oh, would you be eating strawberries for breaks? We're like, oh, will you stop? Like, we're known for strawberries. It's class, like, could be worse.
Yeah.
Things could be worse.
Limerick's known for stabbing. Or no?
There we go. That's
Well,
it.
hurling now, actually. They've turned it around.
Big time, yeah. Can you?
Septic.
Septic.
Oh.
Especially speed ramps in it.
Speed ramps are septic.
Speed ramps in a town, like
Can
just goes to show how many boy races are in it.
Yeah.
The county council went, watch this. I'm gonna put in a motion here now for speed ramps.
I love the one. There's one that's just paint. It's not a ramp.
Yeah.
It's just paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. They ran out of funds. Yeah.
It's a placebo.
Yeah.
Cassette tapes.
Savage.
When they were needed.
Yeah. Well, vinyls and CDs and Spotify all started somewhere, so it's in the evolution of what we listen to today. Like
Extravision.
Oh, savage. I was talking about this before on the podcast, wasn't I? That like there was a whole fucking ritual to it. You know, you go and you pick your DVD, and if it's shite, you have to fucking live with that decision. Like, so there's more on the line. Like, you've skin in the game there.
It was unreal. Movie Magic before Extravision. Now we're talking. You used to go in and get like Scary Movie 18s, American Pie 2, which was like the filthiest one, and you'd be like 12 years of age, you get 2 for €8, bring it back in 3 nights.
Was that the one on Esmond Street?
No, Esmond Street was the upstairs one.
Yeah, that was our uncle Brian used to own that.
No way.
Yeah. What was it called?
D-Video, I want to say.
Something like that. Do you remember?
I remember being
upstairs.
Everything I got on
I think it was like AV Video or like something. There's like a letter and video.
Yeah. That was a while ago.
Then that was like a casino then.
Was it?
Yeah. That had a great track record. Like that's super. Like lads used to be like coming out of the coach house and going straight up like remember the little narrow stairs?
Yeah.
And they'd be going into like the 2 private poker tables. They'd be losing their ways.
Is that Dr. Follicles now?
No, you have to come down further.
Yeah.
If you go down to
I think it's a beauty salon or something.
Who goes to Dr. Follicles?
What?
He's been there for years, but I don't know anyone who gets their haircut by Dr. Follicles.
Dara Cullen used to live beside him in Clonatton.
Did he?
Yeah, when Dara and Anya were building, they lived in Clonatton, and Dr. Follicles used to come in and knock on the door, give the kids ice pops. No, Dara, I want a word out to you in the side there, lad.
So you call him Doctor?
Yeah. Yeah. How are you, Doc? Dada. And he's so Eastern. He kind of has that accent that whenever, and I'd say we butcher the accent of Eastern European, but he's exactly what we sound like whenever we do it. You know? What would you like? You know, he's exactly what we think.
Yeah, very strict on the waiting room. If you're not waiting for a haircut, out you go.
I actually don't think he likes money. I think he's getting free rent. I think he's a millionaire. I think he's like it's like he's if he's in there like doing community service or something. Like he just hates it in there. But I think there's serious competition now for barbers. I'm sorry. Serious competition.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to name any because I'm gonna know that I'm going to leave someone really good out. Like to all the barbers in Gorey, big shout out.
Crocs.
Septic.
Fucking septic. You still wear?
No. When I got with Ashton, that was.
Do you still wear them? You went straight for it, like stabbed in the dark. Septic. Do you still wear them? My God, Mark. You
I know. I told him when he was wearing them. I knew.
Socks. With socks?
No, but I was
good for
one
you,
for
good for you. Jesus Christ, thank God.
I did mature into the ones with no holes. I wore them for a while.
They're a bit better.
Comfy.
Do you know what?
Very good, comfy though, comfort wise. Like
it's savage though that some lad is after making a fortune off it though. I find that savage.
Yeah.
I think he's laughing. I think he's just like sitting in like his mansion going, knowing that it's crap. Like.
Yeah. The education system in Ireland.
Septic. Never liked it. Didn't like college, didn't like school. Move on.
We've a lot to change there, don't we?
We could have a lot to talk about, but it would be a very short conversation. Very short.
Hot deli food.
Hot deli food.
Yeah, I used to think it was savage. Now I think it's septic.
Do you?
Septic, yeah.
Why?
Well, like there's just nothing healthy there.
No, there is nothing healthy there.
You're my personal trainer. You should be telling me about this.
I had my first jambon there about 3 months ago.
Wow.
And I enjoyed it.
Never had one. What are they?
They're a pastry with ham and cheese in them, and they're kind of melted. Like a sausage roll with ham and cheese, but they're good, like.
Okay.
But you can't. Very rarely. I know I'd have them.
Yeah.
Ham or rashers, like.
Ham, not proper ham. But even chicken fillet rolls, neither is.
No, gone off
there. Class.
Yeah, chicken roll, garlic mayonnaise, cheese.
What age are you now, Shane?
And 22.
Yeah, 22. You love good chicken roll, especially on a deal. Remember, you could get like, I don't know, like 6 bags of potato, 8 waters, and 3 chicken breasts for like €3.11.
Yeah.
Wow,
Really?
those are the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, boom times.
And finally, on this Savage or Septic road, George Hook.
Savage.
Ah, yeah, Savage. Yeah, he
Savage,
caused
yeah.
some drama.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah, I just love it when like everything was. He was such a purist about Brian O'Driscoll. Brian O'Driscoll could sit on the bench for like a whole season, and he'd still say he's having a wonderful season. You know, like he was such a pure. He used to just throw his weight around so much, and then he wrote an erotica book. He wrote 2 novels.
What?
Yeah.
Erotica.
Yeah.
Liam Dunn, massive fan, loved the book. If you're ever going to bring this into like a higher level, I think you should start reading
George
excerpts out of
That's a
erotica.
great idea.
George Hooks.
Do you know what? Keep going with your Septic or Savage there, and we'll find an excerpt.
Oh, do. Just on George Hook, his most recent tweet said that the world will pay a high price for the US failure in Afghanistan, and he calls Joe Biden a fool. So just thought we'd keep you posted there on what's coming up.
I used to work in the bar in Lansdowne Road Rugby Club, and George Hook gave a speech there one day.
Oh.
And he was like, because he wasn't on the camera, he wasn't on RT, he was so free in his speech, and he's just like, I well believe he writes those erotica novels. Like, he was absolutely fucking filthy in what he was saying. Like, he was making
He does
reference
audio
to
books as well, it's him speaking.
Oh,
It's
man.
like
Brilliant. He's so articulate. Brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I'd say he's an incredibly intelligent man.
Yeah.
So he's incredibly intelligent. The 9 most stimulating lines from George Hook's erotic fiction.
Brilliant.
Okay. I won't continue if I see anything that's just way off the charts for our younger audience. Let's have a look here. I'm actually nervous. I tell you what, I think you'll be better.
Brilliant.
All right. I think my niece is down at the bottom of the stairs at the minute, so we'll give it a minute or two until
Give it 5 minutes.
through.
We'll give it 5 minutes, but just have a little glance there. And just to see what you're dealing with before you say anything you shouldn't say. But yeah, like I'd say he's severely intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
Like he was more than just a rugby analyst. Like he just columns and stuff for papers, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's kind of retired now. That's why I thought it was a good one to throw in there, because like he's kind of left the public arena, but like, you know, he's still there.
Yeah.
Right, so here's number 1. One thing dominated his thinking outside of that first erection in the outside toilet of the tenement block he inhabited with 4 other families. It wasn't the act, but the chase, the victory, the heap of clothes on the floor that gave him pleasure.
Okay, yeah, do
the voice.
Do more of that.
Joni. No, I can't do it. I'm trying. The new night nurse was his kind of girl. She was a size 16, and the white starched uniform struggled to hold in her magnificent double D breasts.
George.
Last night when she bent over him to fluff his pillows, he had a glimpse of her little girls.
Oh God, am I so uncomfortable.
She was in 5-inch heels, and there was a slash of red on the lovely mouth that opened to mutter the immortal words, "Time for your injections, Jeff." Number seven is just, he groaned. Look at the photo underneath it.
Sorry, camera there.
Number 7, he groaned.
Oh, lads.
Oh, brilliant.
Slowly and deliberately, she unbuttoned the first 4 buttons, and she saw the wondrous orbs. And he saw the wondrous orbs.
Oh,
Wow, way of describing tits.
orbs. Wow.
Little girls, wondrous orbs. Well done, George. You've managed to leave us all speechless.
Yes.
That was the end of that.
Savage. There you go.
That is savage.
That's
what a way to close.
savage in every sense of the word. It is a bit savage.
Yeah. We might look to a shout out actually to Colm Tyrrell, who's recovering in ICU Tala after a load of stone fell on him. He was airlifted to the hospital, and we're thinking of you, Colm, the Irish warrior.
We wish him all the best from Paper Tuesdays, and we'll have him on the podcast soon enough, hopefully.
We will. Soon enough. How long have we been saying that? It feels like 12 months.
12 months. He's been busy on the farm for 12 months.
I'd say a year then, is it?
Yeah, it's
around a year, yeah.
Well, if the boxing career doesn't take off, or the strongman, or the singing, or something else, we never know what could happen.
Speaking of enigmas, let's go to all of the national papers, but especially the Belfast Telegraph, to look at frostbit boy Rory McSorley. He was in the sea for 12 hours and escaped being frostbitten. this is some story. So like he was in the water for like 12 hours, but like what is more incredible by the whole thing is how nonchalant he is about it, really.
Did he
Like,
give the interview?
sorry?
He gave an interview.
Oh, many interviews,
Oh.
and even photos of him where he was when he left the sea, like left the sand to go into the sea. Like he also has worked as a cruise ship entertainer, but all that was scuppered because of COVID. And he said on his Facebook that he wasn't rescued. The Coast Guard just gave him a lift on their way. Like this sort of stuff. Dolphins were swimming around him after his many hours in the sea, and he just saw a lighthouse and he said, I'm going to swim to that, a bit like Forrest Gump-esque, really. The first thing he asked the RNLI volunteers was, would he have to pay for this? And then while he was hypothermic and had to be hospitalized, he said there's nothing wrong with him really and nothing to complain about. He has a bit of a sore knee and his kidneys were just need a little bit of work. But he said to the reporter, was I frightened? Fear is all in the mind. And it made me wonder, it's Rory McSorley's world that we're living in, I think, he's, that's just mad, like.
He was found as well, there was, where he was airlifted from, he was surrounded by dolphins.
Yeah.
And he said that the dolphins kind of saved him in like his own head. I think like a sense of he had company, that he wasn't alone and stuff. I think, like, obviously whenever he came out with the interview and stuff, and people were like, I think everyone kind of like latched on to how funny his accent was or how strong it was or the way that he was just so ahead of his time, the way that he spoke and all. But like he's like, you're just saying that he was I didn't know that he was a cruise ship entertainer. He's just a gift that keeps on giving, like, isn't he? He's just, and for a man to say fear is all in the mind, game, set and match.
But like, it makes you wonder, he's hours into the sea. Is it like from that interview?
12 hours.
Yeah,
that's like 2 o'clock in the day till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
you think about going out to the bridge bar at 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
You start drinking at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you don't stop drinking at 2 o'clock. We won't say any bars for lock-in reasons because 11:30 is closing time, right?
Yeah.
That's a quite long time.
Yeah.
That is scandalous.
But like, I don't get the sense that this man was finished. It wasn't like he was saying, "Here, I'm ready now to go in. The Dolphins have me. I'm ready." RNLI. He was kind of like, "All right, okay.
Do I have to go now?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, is this all show? I don't know. It's just all a bit mad, really.
You're a man for the strength of the mind when it comes to like your triathlons and stuff. 12 hours in the water. To you obviously have more of a handle than I would. I think half an hour in the water would put me to bed, like.
Yeah. It's not even like, it's where he was as well, like, he was 4 kilometers out in the
4 kilometers.
like, there was a reason dolphins were around him. No. Like, I don't know how you get to stage hours in that you don't panic, but maybe I don't know. In other quick news, we were talking about Mayo football. Roscommon Herald reports on the removal of a sign. There was this, those green arrows that you see in all the signs for Dublin and Ballina. Well, someone went to a lot of effort to put another green one. Sam Maguire, 39 kilometres down the N5.
Love it.
But the council said, no, look, we allow some signs, but these signs just takes the biscuit. No, we take it down.
Councillors some crack, aren't they? I'd say there's some crack at parties.
The Kerry man is reporting on last night's game with the headline, Kerry fail Tyrone test. I liked it. Yeah,
I love it.
Oh,
man, go away with it.
Tom O'Neill, our Canadian correspondent, has been in touch with us. Thanks for the message, Tom.
Yeah.
And he sent us a great article about someone that his wife knows. This Saskatchewan man in Canada who's 34 years old, and he has a license for flying helicopters. So, he hopped in his helicopter and he decided to land illegally at an ice cream shop. And he went into the ice cream shop, blowing dust and debris around a school, and he bought himself an ice cream cake. Well, a court appearance is coming up for the man. So there you are now.
Jesus.
What a tale.
Did he get a flake? Did he? That's the real question here.
Mad.
I just want to go back on to how nonchalant you were saying at the start, and I'd say it's some of the funniest stories I've ever heard that came out of Limerick. A friend of mine, Jeff Neville, who actually runs a podcast called The Loose Head. If you're big into your rugby, he gets coaches on and he talks about the mental side of rugby and mental health with players and stuff and things like that. Very, very, very good. So that's The Loose Head with Jeff Neville, and he's saying that he went to a school in Limerick City, and he said there was one of the lads there who was on the team. He goes, he was there because the boys were there. He was a real inner city Limerick lad. But one of the other lads says to him, he's coming down the field, and your man is like walking like a real scanger job, and your man goes, "Oh, look at your man walking onto the field, so all nonchalant." Your man just goes, "What are you, a fucking buck?" Straight out, like he had the two brain cells now to rub together now. What are you, a fucking buck?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Mark, have you got no Reddit for
Yeah,
us?
speaking of school, actually, we have a story about Kevin.
Oh,
So I'll find Kevin now.
please.
This comes from Kevin's teacher. So it's not uncommon as a teacher to have students who are a bit behind the curve in certain aspects. Sorry. But 99.999% of the time, they are keen on something. They might not understand how to identify a noun or what a theme is, but they somehow know how to make a mean plate of nachos. You learn pretty quick not to judge a fish by its ability on climbing a tree. I thought this was the rule when I was teaching until I met Kevin. Kevin isn't his real name, but it doesn't matter because he can't spell it anyway. Kevin was a student of mine during the last year of teaching. He came to my classroom with very little to show for his academic past. He had moved a few times and thus was missing a lot of typical test scores we used to try and ballpark their ability. In brackets, don't worry, it was a ballpark. We didn't make major decisions until we actually had a chance to talk and work with the student a bit. Close brackets. I thought, that's fine. I'll just do some one-on-one with Kevin and see what's up. One-on-one with Kevin was like conversing with someone who'd forgotten everything in a freak, if not impossible, amnesia accident. There was no evidence that he had learned anything past the second grade. He was now in 9th grade. Flabbergasted, I figured we needed to get more serious with this. If he was going to be in my class, I needed to know why and how. I decided to meet with him, his guidance counselor, his parents, and another teacher to see what was really going on. This is where it all became clear. It was by some incredible fluke that his family hadn't been wiped off the face of the earth years ago. Odds are his entire heritage is based on blind luck and some type of sick divine intervention that saves his family every time a threat presents itself. Kevin was the genetic pinnacle of this null achievement. Even my instructional lead, a woman who could find a redeeming trait in a ball rag, I don't know what that is, failed to see any reason for this kid or his family should be alive today. So here's a list of events that made it abundantly clear that God exists and he's laughing uncontrollably. Kevin frequently forgot where his class, when or where his class was. On more than one occasion, I had to retrieve him from other classrooms. Kevin ate an entire 24-pack of crayons, puked, and then did it again the next day. This is 9th grade. I have no idea where he got crayons. Kevin's dad wrote tuition checks and mailed them to me, his English teacher. There was a public school. When I gave it back to Kevin, voided, to give to his dad with a brief note explaining that this is a public school, Kevin got in trouble for trying to spend it at a 7-Eleven after school. Kevin was removed from the culinary arts program after leaving a cutting board on the gas stove and starting a fire twice. Kevin threw his lunch at the school resource officer and tried to run away. He ran into a door and insisted it wasn't him. Kevin stole my phone during class. I called it. It rang. He denied that it was ringing. Not that it wasn't his. Not that he did it. No, he denied that the phone was actually ringing. He tried it 3 more times before the end of the year. Kevin called the basketball coach a motherfucking bitch during gym. Basketball tryouts were that afternoon. Kevin tried out. It didn't go well. Kevin's mom could never remember which school he went to. She missed several meetings because she drove to other schools, none of which he ever went to. Kevin tased himself in the neck before a football game. Kevin kept a bottle of orange Kool-Aid in his backpack for about 4 months. He thought it would turn into alcohol. He drank it during homeroom and threw up. Kevin said the N-word a lot. Kevin was white. The high school was 84% black. Kevin got beat up a lot. Kevin stole another student's iPhone and tried to sell it back to them. Kevin didn't understand that his grade was dependent on tests, quizzes, homework, classwork, and participation. Kevin finished his first semester with a 3% average. He tried to bribe me with $11. Kevin spit on a girl and said, "You should get out of those wet clothes."
Oh.
The girl was his Spanish student teacher. Kevin didn't know dogs and cats were different animals.
That's good.
Kevin tried to download porn onto a computer in the library at the circulation desk while he was logged on. Kevin asked the girl to prom. He was in 9th grade and freshmen didn't go to prom, by asking for her phone number and then texting her his address. Kevin got gum in his hair constantly. Kevin regularly tried to cheat on his assignments by knocking the pile over, grabbing one before I had picked them all up, and then writing his name on it wherever there was room. Kevin had several allergies, but neither of his parents nor he could ever remember what they were. They were concerned that the holiday party, it's high school and we don't have those, would have peanuts. When they finally got a doctor's note, he was allergic to amoxicillin. Kevin and his parents took a trip to Nassau. How the fuck did they even get airline tickets? And forgot all their luggage at home. I didn't believe him when he told me until I talked to his mom, who told me first thing when I saw her at the bi-weekly meeting. Kevin's grandfather apparently died in a chainsaw accident. I can only assume God was looking the other way that day.
Wow. That's Reddit. That is unbelievable.
Who wrote that?
And that's special.
Who has the twisted mind to write that?
About their student. I have another one now about a coconut that isn't very safe for work. Will we go ahead with it?
Yeah.
Always.
Right.
You shouldn't, so you will.
Right. So, anyway, around 8 years back, I lived in northern Mozambique, a coastal southern African country with a quite warm climate. My mother at the time was going through a healthy nut phase and only buying foods she deemed healthy enough. One of these was coconuts. She would buy several coconuts a week to use in food from the local market. Anyways, being a horny teenager, I fapped in regular intervals. Unfortunately, there was some severely stressful examinations coming up for me, and as such, my fapping reached a higher peak than usual, and I was feeling pretty sexually frustrated. One day, I hear that my mother is going to be out for pretty much the entire afternoon. Horny me decides that it would be a fantastic idea to fuck a coconut. Honestly, to this day, I can't fathom why I thought that would be a good idea, but my train of thought back then was clearly somewhat clogged. I ended up grabbing the coconut drill and through 20-ish minutes of concentrated effort, end up creating a hole large enough for me to stick my porker into. I decided it required some lube and grabbed the nearest slippery thing, some butter, before shoving it into the coconut. Where is this now? Into a coconut. Followed shortly by my meat. I fucked the coconut and it actually feels pretty damn good, so I blow my load, shove the coconut onto my bed and continue my day. For the next week, the coconut is my savior. Whenever I want to get off, I simply take it out and fuck it in its delightfully tight hole. Made better each time by accumulating volumes of semen and butter acting as a lubricant. It's heaven. Now I continue, I'd best mention that at this time our area was experiencing quite humid, muggy weather, which exacerbated an already existing fly problem. Disgustingly flat, bloated flies were commonly found around our house, and the exterminators couldn't really do anything because it was a localized area problem and it would go away in the winter. About a week and a bit after the initial coconut incident, I begin to notice a few more flies than usual, as well as an odd, unpleasant smell in my room. Must be the coconut, right? So I decide that I'll fuck it once more and throw it out before I get a new one. Worst mistake I ever made. You see, the reason for the increased number of flies was that the coconut was evidently, in hindsight, a nearly perfect place to lay eggs. As I penetrate the coconut one last time, I feel a strange wriggling sensation. Puzzled, I pull my cock out to discover that it is covered in rotted and moldy butter and semen and teeming with tiny fucking maggots.
Oh my God.
They were wriggling all over my dickhead and some were even trying to force their way up into my urethra. I screamed and threw the coconut against the wall, which made the situation worse by spilling the contents. Hours of vigorous cock-scrubbing, vomiting, and cleaning the remnants were spent reflecting on what the fuck I was doing with my life. Never again, never again. TLDR, don't fuck coconuts.
Wow.
Savage or septic?
The lesson is savage, though, isn't it? It's a
I think we
turning
can all
point in a
learn.
man's life.
We all learned something here today, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I feel
Savage or septic?
My existence has changed. That is septic.
That's septic.
I think the maggots now was.
You get that image of it being thrown against the wall as well.
Yeah, tough going.
Yeah.
So anyway,
This has brought us places, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What more can we say? Only. Oh, did you see we got a letter there from an anonymous guy?
yeah, it was. There was like a tag going across like some of the page, and I was trying to kind of look into it, but it was very good.
Yeah, I had to censor some of it now. Just
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. Some of that was on purpose there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very clever in its expression, and it described you as the Sistine Chapel, and you know it was
very
kind of a lot
Paper
going on.
Tuesdays esque type of humor.
Yeah.
Writing the colour, the writing and stuff. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you know who it is?
No, we still no. But we we're on the hunt. I have a few clues that I'm investigating.
Yeah.
I'd like this to become a thing now. Sicario, if you're listening, continue to engage with us and maybe stop the killing. Known for killings in the 60s and 70s. So there you are. Now in Gory. So, Mark or Conor, a businessman you are. Are you a dreamer or are you practical?
And both. You have to be a dreamer, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't like what we said at the start was always wanting to be better, never being the best, always wanting to be better and stuff. You have to be a dreamer then.
Yeah.
You know, I always dreamed. You see, I was very practical. Like, I knew what subjects I was going to do in secondary school when I was in second class. I knew I wanted to do woodwork, art and music, and that never changed. It was kind of like, that's what I'm going to do. So it was very practical. But I always dreamed of having a business, or I always dreamed of like setting up some like sticks and clicks, or dream of going on tour. And I did all them things. And I think you do have to fancy yourself as well to do these things. You have to sell yourself, and like, that from going into business, like with fitness and your marketing and things like that, and yourself when you're representing like James and stuff and things like that, and you have to sell yourself. And I think a lot of that comes with dreaming. And it reminds me of a good story where Tommy's hearing was on the radio one day, and he says he's over the under 12 footballers back in Barna, and one of the managers goes up to Tommy and he points at one of the lads, and he wasn't much of a footballer. He goes, just look at your man, God, he's such a dreamer, isn't he? And Tommy just turns to him and goes, it's just brilliant,
yeah,
isn't that great?
Sure, maybe he's right.
He's dead right.
Yeah.
Don't beat it out of him.
Don't
let him be.
I think if people are just so practical all the time and structured, and some people that kind of harp on about the whole schedule thing. And I know I'm kind of going back on what I said, like, I'm very scheduled and all, but some people are like so practical. Everything it has to be like, but is that, should you? And it's like, just loosen up a bit, dream a bit, Walt Disney has all of his quotes about dreams and stuff, and sure, look at him, he's still making money and he's in the ground years, so why not?
He's not in the ground though, is he? He's in a fucking freezer.
Is he?
Go away.
Walt Disney's frozen.
I
Do you not know that?
No.
Walt Disney is frozen.
Would you freeze yourself?
When they get a cure for death? No, probably not.
No.
He's in a freezer.
So what happens like when they bring him back? Then he's just fucking
It's a conspiracy.
200 years old.
It's not confirmed. See, there's a theory now that like when the whole movie about Frozen that was created, so that when people search on Google Walt Disney Frozen, that's what comes up, and not the whole conspiracy about him being Frozen or Disney World.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Corporate.
I think he's frozen.
That's so good.
Yeah.
A dreamer.
Yeah. I want to ask you how you're feeling this weather. You look a lot fresher than when we met for episode 15. And do you feel fresher?
Do I feel fresher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like it's just, I took in my early 20s till I was about 26, 27. I kind of I never had to battle with like weight and stuff and things like that, and sure, socializing and touring. Touring's an awful thing if you don't look after yourself, like on the road. It's like what we were saying about the deli counters, and I was straight in there with Septic. Sure, that was my breakfast, lunch and dinner was deli counters. And I hadn't moved. I hadn't played sport for 12 years, and I'm back playing football now with Nevena, with Mark 3 days a week for personal training, and feeling fresher. I think it's the fatherhood thing. I think the structure is starting to slowly kind of ease in. It's like, I just don't want to be. See, you always hear that whenever the baby starts feeding and gets a little bit older, you start eating what they're eating and things like that. And sure, you could be doing that all day, So I feel better, but I think it's not even about looking better or losing weight and staying fit. I think it's good for your work. It's good for your relationships with your clients or with your family and things like that. I think that's the key to all. Just being in better form, which is kind of I want to go back to James Morden's his advice at the end of his episode, which he said, have you got anything to say? And you just drink more water and do some more exercise, lads, and you'll feel the better of it. Something so simple. And he's right, like.
Yeah.
That kind of hit home, because I remember James went on like the the whole fitness thing as well during the lockdown, and he looks super now.
Yeah.
But that kind of, when I listened to that episode, I kind of thought, Jesus, I think I should go out with myself. I hate running. I hate it, but I went out and I did it, and it pays off. And like I said, better form.
Yeah.
You know, and during a lockdown, crazy, stay in the bed till 12:30, very easy, and do work on your phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with the blind down, get up and get going.
Yeah.
In like Mark gets up at, I don't know, at like 4 a.m. I remember I said to him, I was like, "Gosh, I'll drop down to you early in the morning." And Mark was like, "Your early is not my early." And now, like, I'm in with Mark usually at 9:30. That's like the middle of the day to you. You're getting ready for dinner about 9:30.
Yeah.
Which it's great. Yeah, look at we've had all this time to kind of either reskill, upskill, get fit, and do all that. So I took advantage of the time that I could do it.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, thanks. You're looking great yourself.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All thanks to Mark Halpin Fitness with his personalised body bra gear, in fairness to him.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was gifted
Looks
to me
brilliant.
there during the week.
That's unreal.
That and a hoodie as well. So thank you to Brendan and Orla and Avian for that. And
Nice one.
Body Bro, Ben and all lads in there.
Great
Thank you
stuff.
very much.
Have you another Reddit, or will we go to Flash?
I do have one more Reddit.
Go
Do
for
you want
it.
to use it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see what we have here. Also, we have an option of 2 now. We have a long one or a short one. We have Monkey Business, or we have the Fart Assassin.
Oh, fart assassin.
Fart
All right.
Assassin.
Yeah.
Right, this is the longer one.
You
now.
know you're too old when farts become.
Oh, we have to go soon. Right, we'll read this and then we'll go.
Right.
I have a booking in Seafield. Right, so if I decide to stare, it's usually with a what the fuck are you going to do about it? Look, I'm 6'7", so even trying to be friendly, i.e. not farting on a stranger's kid's head and meeting a family member or a friend's kid for the first time, I've noticed they get very high between their mother's legs, intimidated on sight if I'm not sitting down. So it's hard for me to silence / intimidate a child, especially when I'm trying to. However, a few times I've been called out. One time I was pretty drunk with a friend at Target. So Target is like Pets or whatever in America. Buying Risk. I know we never finished playing the whole game. Risk is a board game, I think. This little Mexican 5 or 7-year-old with a mohawk was being an insufferable little shit in the action figure section. I heard him from like 5 aisles over, and it was like nails on a chalkboard. I tell my friend, I'm going to fart on this kid's head, watch and learn. I saunter on over to the aisle in question and see the vile little prick calling his mom an idiot for not buying him a huge fucking G.I. Joe the movie vehicle, which pissed me off even more considering how awful that movie was. I already bought one for you and you broke it by throwing it down the stairs. Shut up, I need it. It's the only one I don't have now. The mother was younger than me. I'm in my mid-20s and she gave me a defeated look. She gave a defeated look. I don't have enough money for this right now. You are an idiot. I continue to just berate and publicly shame this woman. At this time, I was on a strict Chipotle burrito diet, and while I was watching all this, my stomach gave the initial warning gurgle, very courteous stomach, telling me I was about an hour away from punishing the toilet. Serendipity, destiny. I inched closer to my prey, inspecting some wrestling toys and pondering the weird homoeroticness of the whole sport in general. The kid shouts, "Fuck you, I hate you." The mom rolls her eyes and turns her back to the kid to ignore him. And could you believe it? This kid gets on his hands and knees and starts taking the toy out of the box. It's time to go, motherfucker. I position my back towards him at this point, and I'm like 2 feet away from him. His head is down, frustrated, and getting frustrated with those goddamn twisty tie things. I go in for the kill. I bend down to reach for one of the toys on the lower shelf. At this point, my ass is inches away from this kid's head. Now, generally speaking, the best way to go about this is act casual, drop your belly bomb, and then walk away a few seconds later like nothing is out of the ordinary. I usually go one aisle over and listen to the kid's reaction in delight. However, I couldn't help myself today. I have my head tilted back looking at this kid out of the corner of my eye to ensure accuracy. I'm so close from a distance it looks like I'm about to sit on him. My friend sees this happening and can no longer contain himself. He's covering his mouth, but his hee-haw hyperventilating donkey chortle is fairly audible over the late 90s pop music playing over the loudspeakers. The kid immediately looks up towards the laughter, but can't help notice there's now an ass directly in his face. Now I'm trying not to laugh, but also panicking as I just made eye contact with him. He furls his brow and I look over in the mother's direction, still back towards us. I relish in the moment and look at this child's confused and naive face. The initial blast was mighty and boisterous. I swear I saw his hair blowing in the wind. If I wasn't wearing jeans, I think I could have probably blown over an empty soda can. I would call it a very funny fart. However, immediately followed
that was a chamber of dry air horn squeals to a nefarious hissing Memphis. I think the little muppet noticed the hateful metamorphosis before I even did, and wrenched his neck violently, trying to get away from the poisoned evil being fumigated into his soul. Because of his positioning, hovering over the toy hands and knees, it was all in vain, as the only way out was forward, and forward would mean certain death. I positioned myself on a higher ground, free to escape or relent at any time, and him, poor and immobilized, biding his time until his cruel attack was over. Obviously, this child needed to read Sun Tzu. In total, it lasted about 4 seconds, but for that kid, it must have seemed like an eternity. The long-term severe brain damage which he no doubt suffered only added to that effect. When I finished with my business, there was a silent, pregnant pause. The kid was clearly shocked and stunned. No one had ever stood up to this dwarf sociopath in his whole life. I had taken the words right out of his mouth and filled it with fart. I make my move first, picking up the toy I was reaching for off the low shelf, and take a few steps forward and stare at it for a few seconds. On to Mississippi, the only thing the kid could manage to do was burst into tears. My friend senses danger. The jig is up, and his head darts for cover. The mom turns around to see her kid with an open toy crying on the floor and me minding my own business. She walks up to him and asks what's wrong, but the kid can't speak. All he can get out is wow, 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 wow. It took every fibre of my body not to laugh. I put the toy back on the middle shelf, turn around and give a final nonchalant look, and then begin to take my exit. Sensing that the assailant was getting away scot-free, he somehow managed to compose himself for a moment. He shouts, "He farted on me." I could feel him pointing at me, but I continued to act like I was just browsing, and was almost around the corner when the mom goes, "Excuse me, sir," and I turned around nonplussed. Who, me? While pointing to myself. "Yes, did you just fart on my son?" Weighing up my options, I played dumb. "What? I mean, I did fart on my son? Well, I mean, technically speaking, what is on? But did you fart on my son?" At this point, little kid has a look of schadenfreude on his face, happy to see me in trouble. "Fuck you, I'm a man, I will fart on you if I please." I turn my attention to little kid and stare at him, because this whole store could hear him being a little rotten asshole to his mother, so I thought I'd come over and treat him like one.
Oh.
The mom looks at me, her son, and a scattered G.I. Joe wrappers box on the floor. The mom is puzzled as to what to do and says, just go. That's my cue. I turn around, walk away with my little extra step. I look up and see the black orb of security cameras and the stories of Reddit about unjustly having to register as a sex offender flash before my eyes. As soon as I turn around the corner, I book it outside as fast as I can while dialing my friend. Like a true friend, he is right out the front with the engine running and Risk in the trunk. We laugh on the car ride back about the whole scene. With a slight hint of seriousness in his tone, my friend asked me, "Do you do that a lot?" I said, not much, like once every 6 months or so. We both knew I was lying. We got to our friend's house, played Risk until 4 a.m. while drinking scotch. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty good day.
Wow. That's brilliant. That's a great story.
And on that, I
But-
hope you leave us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right,
Joy.
thanks, Conor. See you, Michael.
Thank you, Mark.
Please,
Enjoy it. They're going to Seafield. Yes.
Yeah, nice one. Just me and you.
Yes, indeed. Well, there's
Dream
only
team.
one way to do it
Dream
together.
team.
Conor, we just have a flash flood.
Lads, I'm not happy. There is a certain Irish band gone missing over the last couple of years, and I don't know, are they retired? Are they dead? Have they fell out? Or what? They can't be heard on the airwaves. Very hard to find any of their music. But I say, bring back the Saw Doctors.
Oh.
I want you to make it a personal mission to go and find the Saw Doctors. They're lost. They can't be found. Bring them back. I need more cracking diving and tell them lads. They were great men for the Sunshine music. Bring them back.
Interesting from Flood there.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that, Conor.
No. Very calm.
I think they've taken a
very
break.
calm this week as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Building up a bit of...
he's not angry
suspense.
this week. He's disappointed. It's probably the worst thing that you can get off anyone. It's like, I'm not angry at you, I'm disappointed in you. Oh no, don't be disappointed. You know, he's very disappointed this week. Well,
But he hits on something there with radio, like
Sunshine
what strikes
music.
me.
Sunshine music.
Yeah.
Yeah, open top down. I tell you why the Saw Doctors aren't being heard, because they're not paying their PR to get them out on radio. End of story.
Oh.
You know, there's no funds behind it. Like,
What strikes me though with music on radio stations is you know what they're going to play. Like there's no variety because it's all kind of designed.
There's priority listing. Like so,
Yeah.
if let's just say you are a local band, so you're only county-wide, you're not even nationwide, you're county-wide,
Yeah.
and you want to get into South Australia.
Hmm.
They'll look at who's going to listen to who more. You know, they have like Rihanna, Lady Gaga, The Verve, and the Briars, right? Your band being the Briars, so they'll put like 5 stars on the 3 top ones because they're like just huge money going behind those songs. But then they've got your funded song, and they'll say, right, we'll give them a play. So they won't give them plays, like so. It's always every single day, everything is looked at, as in like radio stations won't just play anything.
Mm.
That's what I got from like radio stations. They say, oh, we have you listed there now as a 5-star just for the week though. So it's money. Yeah, it's all money. But yeah, he's right. Where are the South Actors gone?
Yeah.
Because I thought they were kind of fairly active up until recently. Like, you know, they've the fans are still there.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, think about the South Actors playing at the next, I don't know, 10 Mayo festivals when COVID opens up the arts. The green and red of Mayo being played down through the streets for the whole year. It's more sorted. You know, they'd be sorted. Like, I remember seeing them recently. They were all fairly hard enough. They were mid-50s. To late 50s, and they were playing at like the county jersey nights in St. Pat's and stuff. Yeah. The academy. Yeah, very good. But it's sad not to hear. But sure, then again, where's the likes of Sam Smith gone?
Mm.
There's a lad up at the top who you never hear now. And Adele.
Yeah.
You know, people like them, you know, but then again, he has a point to solve.
And Ed Sheeran only coming back into it there, is he?
Yeah, Ed Sheeran is, he's comfortable. But I think Ed Sheeran is, I'd say he works so much. Like I was watching behind the scenes with him, Foy Vance. You know Foy Vance?
No.
Irish singer. He's from the north. He rode Galway Girl with them, and they're out in like this beautiful spot. It's like a golf course, and they're just out and they're kind of humming in hand through Galway Girl. Like, oh God, that's such a difficult place to be in. Like when you're stuck on a lyric or you're stuck on a rhyme, you're stuck on a word, and people are like, oh God, the lyrics, they just seem to flow. Yeah, but he probably was like sitting there like that for about 24 hours going, what rhymes with Galway? You know what I mean? Like that's a mind-numbing place to be in. Like he's always writing. Yeah, I heard a great thing as well that they bring a box of Lego around. So whenever the producer is playing away and the manager will just throw out the Lego on like the floor, Ed Sheeran will sit down, he'll just play away and he'll just rap away, and he's big into Lego. Like that, sure, didn't he write an album called Lego House?
Lego House is a song, yeah.
So there you go.
That's mad. Great story. Yeah. I read I think I put it on my Insta at the time. There was a Sunday Times interview with him or something, and he talks about being in this African, like someplace in Africa, and he just spent a day chanting, or a whole night chanting this song over and over. Like you got this, like, you know, he just loves music and the writing of it, doesn't it? Like, but like also as well, do you know who wrote or who orchestrated the orchestra? You could say he transcribed he composed and transcribed the music for Perfect was his brother. His brother is like top class, like top drawer, like lad who transcribes music, which is an incredible job. Like, so if you say I'm a trombone player, he'll have to write it out in a trombone style. Does he work with him a lot? I don't know whether about the whole a lot part, but the two, he's the spit of him, except he has like brown hair. But like the two of them were working in studio together, and there's such a lovely relationship. And you know, I think it's just the two of them as two boys, and I kind of like that because I come from a family of just myself and Dahi, and they seem to get on really well. Where they just had like an unbelievable take with this 60-piece orchestra, and the brother just turns to him and goes, "It was a good idea." He goes, "It was a great." He goes, "It was a great one." He goes, "Thanks a million." And it was just they're just so talented. Like they're just blisteringly talented. Like they're so good. I don't know. Now I wouldn't go to many gigs, but I saw him in Phoenix Park, and for most of the concert, it was just my mouth was open. I just found it
Crazy how
incredible.
he can put on a show with just a guitar and him.
Yeah, and the loop, and
The loop thing. The Loop is a band. You know, people go, you know, do you not think he'll ever go? But maybe that's why he is Ed Sheeran. Like people, you know, you kind of get a lot of the haters. Then kind of, I hate using that term, haters. I feel like a YouTuber. Like the people who don't like him, and they're like, oh, he's only doing like a one-man show because then therefore he doesn't have to pay. That's not the case. Like I'll tell you straight out, Nathan Carter gets paid about 100 times more than what his band does each night. I know that the lads are all on a flat fee, but he's Nathan Carter.
Yeah,
his sales can, his wage can change and stuff. He's on chronic amount of money. But Ed Sheeran on his own is incredible. I remember Maura went to see him live, and she was like a little bit apprehensive, going, guitar and just him. She goes, best thing she's ever seen. Like incredible. Christy Moore is a very good one. I only noticed that Christy Moore is actually a gig that people should put onto their bucket list. Whether you're into them or not. Yeah. You're not just watching a musician, you're watching someone who is doing like 3 or 4 things at once. He's storytelling, he's expressing emotion, he's singing, and he just has you captured like for a whole 2 hours. There's not a word said like. Yeah.
And sometimes he's very good with social issues as well. You know, some of his songs there about mother and baby homes and stuff, they're on the button like.
How are you going? Yeah.
But I didn't know, and I haven't seen it. There was an RT documentary about him recently, and it was only in the run up to that I realised he's 74. You would not think that man is 74. You think he's in his 60s and doing
fine, man. Like yeah. Like when we seen him, we kind of, you know, when people kind of change, you kind of go, oh, he got old. He's got old. But like I wouldn't have put him myself for.
No.
I think he's still going. Like
yeah.
I think I doubt he's like inundated with gigs and stuff. I'd say he goes, I'll do me 4 gigs a year.
Vicar Street,
his big ones.
Very good in Vicar Street. Ash and I saw him at Vicar Street, and it's just a perfect venue for me. You know, it's that
perfect venue. That's unbelievable. Yeah, that's class. Yeah. Very good.
Can I have any closing thoughts for us?
No, not really. I want to ask you though.
Oh, go on.
Right. Okay. Now that that's gone right. I was thinking about this recently, and I don't know, maybe it's the being with Mark or getting a little bit back into fitness and trying to push myself and all. But how do you push yourself coming into like 80% of your triathlons? What's going through your mind like when you want to give up but the body wants to give up but the mind can't? What's that battle like?
I did a half marathon yesterday, and that was far tougher.
That is mental. Oh, really?
That is far tougher than I have been floored since it. And part of it was because I did no training into it. Like I just kind of said I wanted to do. But I've discussed this with Mark before, and I'm a diva for imagining people are talking. So Larry O'Gorman was my figure yesterday, and when I was hitting low points in 14 kilometers, 17 kilometers, Larry always saying to me, come on brother, you can do it. So I had to talk to myself like that, and I just find the whole process fascinating, like, because around 7 or 8 kilometers I was loving life. I was skipping. I was thinking, this is great. Yeah. I'm going to fly this.
Yeah,
that moment didn't last long, you know. Okay. So you have that high around 7 or 8 kilometers, and then you have a slog. Now, like, my time was great. It was 2 hours 25, but like it was more wanted to get it done. Like there were points near the end where, like, I was always of the view, like David Goggins, he says that when you feel pain, that's when your body is saying you're 40% there. There were times yesterday I was just like, no, I'm going to have to walk a little here now, and you know,
did you walk
blackberries? I walked for a few 100 meters, all right, near the end. So like, it's not a proper one, but like, I was floored. So I don't like.
It's hard to give in to the walk too, because your rhythm has changed.
Yeah.
Your confidence kind of goes a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this from experience. I'm just kind of guessing if this is the thing. Like, but like I did a 5K when I started doing 5Ks, and I remember saying to one lad, like, I can't do it straight. I can't do 5K. He goes, you can. Because the reason why you can't is because the minute you stop, he goes, the blood flow everything just becomes so dead in like your legs whenever like you're walking. He goes, the more you keep the heart rate going, he goes, keep the rhythm going. He goes, even if it is at a slower pace, but keep that running movement going. Like.
Yeah.
But reserving energy, like what's that like? You know, like I remember like watching the Olympics and they're doing like the power walking, and your man stopped. He went back to get his hat, and then he went back again. And the commentators said he's used like such what could you say, such vital energy there in like turning around, and he's lost out in 3 or 4 spaces or 3 or 4 places, and now he's to get himself back into the race. Like something so small.
Wow.
Is like, is it a lot of energy to kind of do something like that? Like you tying your shoelace. If you had to pull in and like tie like your shoelace and get back up, and is that like? The
only thing I did with that is sometimes when you do actually spend a lot of energy picking your route, so you would be better off knowing what route you're going to take. Now I took a fairly straightforward one yesterday, but like I can see, but there are lads that are at their pinnacle. Like if I was in more of a rhythm of doing these endurance events, then yeah. But like you'd have to admire, like I'm still. That's why I brought so much drink today, because I am still shattered from the event. And I think think back on. Did you hear Ryan Davin when we had him on? Like what he did, insane. You know, to run.
I actually only met him beside Marhalton Furniture. I was doing a workshop at the boat place there.
Right.
And Ryan was down there getting himself a kayak or whatever, a boat. And I was like, how's it going? He goes, I haven't seen you in ages. How are things? He says, geez, good to see you. I was like, how are you getting on to this? Getting ready now for this big one. All right. So this was pre his major success.
Yeah.
Let's just call it. I don't know what the actual name of, but his success. And he was like, I'm just running in. He's gonna teach me how to use one. He hadn't been using one. Like he was getting on the ball like a couple of weeks, got it, learned how to do it, and then he just went for it. He is an incredible lad. He is incredible. And I remember seeing the video, and sure, he just broke out with emotion. Like, of course he would. That's like talking about like battling and stuff, and you know yourself, like with triathlons. But I don't know. I'd never do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think anyone can do it, but you have to have some strong mind to go, I can do that, and I will finish it.
It is an addiction though, like, you know, it's something when it gets under your skin, you know, you want it's like the thing with Mark, like, you know, you get a good feeling out of it and you want that feeling more and more.
That's it. Yeah, it's like like I was getting fitter again, like a training stuff, and I remember saying this to you there recently, and it was like you said, you asked something about like what keeps me going in business or something, and I was like, it's the fear of failing. Like, yeah, like the fear of failing is probably the one thing that gets me up out of bed every morning. It's not about wanting to succeed, it's the fear of failure. Like, so the more you keep away from that, the more chance you're going to succeed, I think. You can look at it the other way and think like that, but I think that's what keeps you going. But like even trying to give up the cigarettes now is so much handier now, because I feel better coming out of Mark's, and then you feel like that your chest is in bits. You're like, just give it up. If you're not feeling good, just knock it. But it's only now that I noticed that, you know. So
there's just when you say about the fear of failing, I saw an amazing quote there. From Rosa Parks. I've learned over the years, when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done is does away with fear, and that did it for me now. That's something that's stayed with me, because, you know, it's very easy to let doubt trickle in, but then if you look at yourself and decide, no, my fitness is really important, or, you know, my relationship or whatever it is really important, well, then it's very easy then to double down when you know that it is deep down, that's your duty, that's your calling, whether it's to be a father, you know. That's really what distills it.
I think once you start looking after yourself, everything will start looking after themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have such tunnel vision about little worries, like, I used to like worry about them and try and fix that over there before I start even looking after myself. Like, you know, get up earlier, go to bed at a reasonable hour, drink more water, simple things, like even thing like that. And whenever I didn't do that, sure, everything just kind of crumbles. Then you have to work yourself back out at. Once you start looking after number one, it trickles down then, and everything is sorted. I think that is like going into work in better form. All comes from how you treat yourself, like, you know. So it's it's a big one. So
that's a great perspective. Thanks to Shane for his generosity on camera, and for Robbie for editing all this and putting this together. But I have one more question for you, Conor, and you kind of touched on it there. Would it be easier for you if you were based in a metropolis or in a city and not in your hometown? Would it be easier to have the market there, or do you think you're comfortable in doing it in your own place?
I probably would be better in my own place, and I'll tell you why. Is because I am, what could you say? I'm a self-made entrepreneur. I didn't go to college to study business. I didn't study marketing. I didn't study advertising. So therefore, it works better for me that I can speak directly to the people who I know. So I wouldn't know how to create pipes with marketing and advertising in a city. Whereas being from Gorey and working with Gorey people, I know what they're looking for, because I'm not about to say they're my people or anything, but they're my kind of people. Like, it's like if you set up a business, you go to Gorey Guardian, you do a big event, and you do a promo. You get Conor Stafford in to do your promo. You ring up the Gorey Guardian, and you start calling your schools or calling your potential customers. In a city, I don't know whether that's the same thing. Like, I wouldn't know where to start. If I did do the same thing, if I was in the city, you're talking major money for your rent, because you're now in a city. You're talking not even the rent, your rates. You're probably going to have to get investors. You're talking like huge, just a massive inflated version of what I will be doing. So yeah, I think in time I'd like to be in a city. I don't know, maybe expand and sell up and expand. I don't know, but yeah, working local in a town is a big town though. I've often thought, like, if I grew up in a village, like, would I be doing what I'm doing? I'd probably not. I took advantage of the fact that there is like 25,000 people living in Gorey. Like,
And it's boom. It's just
booming.
brilliant to see.
25,000 people in Gorey is a lot of people on our doorstep.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people. You know, probably the bigger guys who love like business more probably think 25,000 is nothing and stuff, because everything is about percentage.
Yeah,
You know, like, out of 25,000 people, how many are actually going to use your business?
Yeah.
Like you think about how many people, like, what percentage of Gorey goes into pets? It's probably a single digit, like, you know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know because there's so much competition, like.
Yeah.
But I think if I was to ever go into a business in a city, I wouldn't create a business that would be a competitor. I would create a business that has never been heard of before, like. A bit like BET. BET are the only company in Ireland that do what they do. They have no competition.
BET, what are they?
Yeah, they do, like, they test, like, I get this so wrong now, so I'm sorry.
Brendan works for them there. Like,
Brendan's
it's like, it's not all like the
They
noise
test-
pollution and not all like the insulation and everything. So like, if you're living in an estate, like, how much can you hear from the outside? How much can you hear your neighbour? And all the kind of like quality assurance stuff. So just making sure
So they test, like, the vibration and things on the, like, so, like, they could test, like, a particular pane of glass made from X amount of materials and kind of layers and stuff. And I remember I actually went looking at a space there at BET, and Brian Shannon is his name. He's a lovely, lovely lad from Wicklow Town. Great friends with Hermitage Green, a great band that need to get back on the radio along with the
100%.
doctors there as well. Yeah. So he goes, you could use this, you know, if you wanted to. And I was like, what's it like for soundproof? He goes, I have an airplane engine that comes in here to test. Like, and I was like, that's incredible. But everything's like spray foamed and all. But he's the only one in the country. I remember him saying to me, he goes, don't forget, like, in business, don't go mad into competition. He goes, go mad into making something that's never been done before. And I thought, such an easier life. Like, you're not like looking at the performance of your competitors going, oh, he had a brilliant year. That just be your own, like, and then wait for because if someone else comes in, they have to compete with you up at the top, and you've got years of experience ahead of them, you know. So that's what I would do if I went into a city. It's a different business. What it would be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know what I would do, but it'd be good.
Yeah, but you've got the ethic, and that's the main thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Conor, it's been class to sit down with you again. And I remember finishing our first one and thinking, oh, we'll have you back. But I can say it again, we'll have you back. It's just
thanks a million
very
for having
easy
me.
to chat with you. And I hope our Paper Tuesdays have found it the same.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are we doing one excerpt from
Oh,
Liam
definitely.
Dunn?
Go for it. Oh, Liam, you'd like Liam more than I can. I've got pins and needles in me leg. Let me find Liam. Oh, 1 second now. Not a good day for poor old Liam without a back going down in the championship.
I love it. I love it. Usually whenever I'm just about to fall asleep, I'm just like 20 minutes left on the podcast, I always go just to the end, just try and find Liam really quick. Like.
Right, I'll let you do the honours. 37, I think, is the number in my head. Go for it. While you're finding 37.
37?
Yeah, I just...
And pick any paragraph, is it?
Oh, yeah. These fine jerseys. I did my half marathon yesterday in the away jersey.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. So, they're still available for sale, I'm sure.
They're available for order now. Actually, they're all sold out again. Yeah, they're flying off the shelves, so it's great.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And they're savage. Thank you very much. Someone once told me life wasn't about the size of the dog in the fight more than the size of the fight in the dog. It was good advice. All through my childhood, I was quiet and easygoing, but deep down, I was a fiery little whore and not to be messed with. In sport, I seemed to be smaller than most other lads my age, and it took me a long time to find my feet. But when I did, I quickly learned to compensate for those 2 or 3 missing inches and found out there were other ways to make do. I arrived into the world, destination Gorey, on June 12, 1968, after giving Mam a relatively trouble-free birth. 5 siblings had come before me, so there were no trumpet blasts or anything like that. The Duns had seen it all before, you see. So apart from a few strange heads of black hair looking into the cot at me when I came home, I am told it was soon back to your stations. We grew up in that sort of an unfazed environment.
Isn't that great?
Born Gory.
Yeah,
that's class.
Yeah.
He's some man.
Yeah,
he's a great man.
It's a beautiful book. It's very well put together. I'm sure. I know it was with Damien Lawler, and you'd see Damien. He does the post-match interviews at RT at the moment, and you know he's fashioned it. I know it's Liam's words and all, but everything about that book, every paragraph we pick, it's just there's a rawness to it.
The back photo is him getting sent off. It's the last photo you would think any athlete would put onto it, but he did because he's Liam Dunn. You know? I wish he got more of a chance with Wexford at the time. I think he was he was given a team to kind of sort out, or they just weren't there yet. I just don't think he was given the right time or something.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him kind of reapply, even go to the back team or something.
Yeah.
Who's your money on next manager?
I want
Eddie Brennan.
I want Liam Sheedy.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know how possible it is, but I'm hoping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think he's a good fit.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of a bandwagoner now with the Eddie Brennan thing.
Oh yeah, but he'll still be a good one. It's not a bad one.
He got Leash up off the ground.
Yeah.
Leash, you weren't writing Leash off
Yeah.
in the last 2 or 3 years. Years ago, grand, no bother. You turn up with half a team and you still bait Leash. You've to put your A team now up against Leash. That's serious work.
Yeah. So, did you hear the latest rumor? Henry Shefflin, maybe in 2 weeks' time, if I'd say he's having talks with Kilkenny as well. So that's a class rumor now, but a lovely one to end it.
Kilkenny man to Wexford. I think that rivalry is dead and gone though.
Yeah, do you think?
Which is mad because we had such a rivalry when Kilkenny kept beating us.
It?
And now that it's been to and fro, Wexford have had a good handful of wins against Kilkenny in the last 5 or 6 years.
Is that the quality that has come because of that now that there's a backdoor? I don't view Leinster the same way now that it's not straight knockout. Not that I ever did, but I think there's an All-Ireland in that team, and that's why I kind of always...
Wexford.
Yeah. Well, if they're...
Do you know what? There's definitely an All-Ireland in, because coming from a Kilkenny fan, we sat beside a Kilkenny woman for food for the Wexford Clare game, and Wexford were getting hammered. I think 11 or 12 points Clare went ahead by, and me and David were almost starting to drop our heads and not watch it anymore. And you're one from Kilkenny, and she goes, not many teams have the intensity like Wexford do. Now we can't say that because we are so tunnel visioned whenever we're watching Wexford play. We're literally watching Wexford and Kilkenny get the ball, we just turn away and go, stop, you know. Whereas Kilkenny, whenever they're watching Wexford play against not even Kilkenny but someone else, as she goes, as a Kilkenny supporter, in the last 5 or 6 years, we have never gone to a Wexford game thinking we have this today. Because we never write Wexford off. And the thing that brought Wexford back into that game, and she called it, I have to hand it to her. And I was kind of half throwing my eyes up whenever she first said it. She goes, the intensity that Wexford have is an intensity like no other at all. Like, I think that's why we harp on about 96 so much. Like, it was such a, it was an All-Ireland for the fans. Like, it was an All-Ireland for the fans. Like, it wasn't like all about, about the Wexford team. It was like a family after winning the All-Ireland. Like, it was just, like, I was 4 years of age now. I don't remember much. I was actually in Breed's house. I remember I was too small, and all of the youngins were left behind, and the mum and dad and David actually made it up. He got to go and stuff, but
it's 25 years tomorrow but like we're never going to stop talking about 96. I was only 9 months old. Well, it's just something it's part of our identity. Like, it's
a religion down here.
Yeah,
it is a bit of a, like, you'll always get, the Wexford lad probably never shuts up about Wexford winning 96, and I won't.
Yeah,
and I won't give up, because go back on the highlights, listen to the tune, and I love that Dancing at the Crossroads is played in every county. Like, it's played in every county. I remember, like, lads back in college, like DJs coming back at home doing 21st and all, and they'd say, "What's the name of that band again?" Wild Swans. Listen to this. Back arse of Leitrim at a 21st, and they're
I was in the Gaeltacht in fifth year and in Kerry, and there was these two agricultural Tipperary lads, and we were on the way back for evening study or something. It was Bruna Park. It wasn't a normal Gaeltacht. There was no Cadies and such. But there, I've just this abiding memory of these two lads with the phone playing up of Dancing at the Crossroads, and these Tipperary lads chanting out the names.
What?
Yeah, that's how embedded the song has become. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable. So Sholin got the second year to headline the Market Fest. I'd say it was 26. It was actually my second last gig with the lad officially. We got to do it in Gorey, and we were practicing the week before in Kilkenny. And Stefan goes, I couldn't sleep last night, so I got up and I listened to the Wild Swans. He goes, and I sat down and I listened and I listened and I listened. He goes, and I got learning it. Because I didn't learn the words. He goes, I've learned the chords because you're singing it. I was like, I'm not. He goes, Key will go on the drums and you sing. So we got to sing it anyway. A bit of a novelty. Like, now we've got we had 6 lads up on stage who were well able to play instruments. The lads got it out. There was a sax in it. There was mandolin, the whole lot. And the minute, like, I wouldn't be much of a singer. Like, I'd be just as good as any VE in a pub now, just screaming it. The crowd, like, erupted. Like, the minute they heard ooh, 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 off the lads, like, it's like Gorey are still latching on to this 1996 thing, like, and 8,000 people are singing it back at you. Even the kids who weren't even born are singing it, like. But there's definitely I don't think we can use the excuse that Wexforders not experienced enough. I can't listen to that anymore, because that's not a thing. So there is an All-Ireland, but then again, will you ever get as good a chance against Tipperary 2019? The day 2 of our wedding was the All-Ireland final, and Maura turned to me when they bet Kilkenny in the Leinster final that year. She turns to me and she goes, All-Ireland's on the 18th of August. And I was like, yeah. She goes, that's the day after wedding. And I went, yeah. And she goes, we're going to Dublin if Wexford beat Tipperary. And I went, absolutely. I said, I absolutely love it. It says, you mean the world to me. But Wexford on the 18th is going to have to come first. And she goes, yeah, come on, we go up to Dublin. A few people were like, you should have went up in like the wedding dress if Wexford had gone through and stuff. But
sorry, bridesmaids of hurling.
yeah, absolutely. But like, it's mad. Like, I was never much of a hurler and stuff, but I'm obsessed. And I think people kind of become surprised that I am obsessed with hurling and things like that. But I cry in all of extra match. Like, I do. I think it's incredible. Like, I think Wexford hurling is just unbelievable. I'm obsessed with it. Like, I'm obsessed. I'd never switch off. Like, never ever switch off. I wouldn't know what to do if I met Liam Ryan or Lee Chin. Like, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm an odd fan in that like Leinster semi-final against Kilkenny, I wasn't really too pushing to get tickets. I don't know, it was one of the first games that crowds were allowed, and I thought, I know people deserve it more. The Clare game, I wanted to be there. I was desperate for tickets.
Yeah.
And it's that feeling that, you know, this is do or die. This is, you know, your survival hinges on this result.
I think there was I'm not saying that there was more support from the Wexford fans. I think there was more intense support because we knew that Davy had hung on for that extra year, and we knew that this was his last year. And I think everyone was just like fingers crossed that Wexford would do well because it was going to be his final year. He did a great job. I think if anyone talks down about him, like, you know, they're wrong. Like, he's brought great memories to Wexford. Never forget the Wexford bus coming up and just brushing through like a crowd of people. That's great to be alive for. I'm quite jealous of the ones who were 16 and 17 when Wexford came home in '96. So jealous that I wasn't at an age where I could celebrate. I was 4 years of age. I was on my father's shoulders, like, you know, big bellow of smoke, looking up at the wild swans up on top of Oscars. Great old times, but sure. Then again, that's all I remember. Like, you know, lads were booking, like, closing up the shop for a week and all. It's unbelievable. It's class. But yeah, Wexford for Liam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah,
Thanks, Conor.
Thanks. Nice one.